Hello, Kristen Steps here again with ZapDiabetes. I'm here today with a review of the 670g insulin pump by Medtronic. Also going to be doing a lot of comparison to the Revel pump. First thing I want to review today is actually what people that run into me that don't know what these are call these devices. Like many of you have probably had this pump or a similar pump by Medtronic for a long time, and I need to send this one back now. So it's probably the last time I'll be able to show this one, but anyway, this is always called a pager. Seems like, oh, why do you still have a pager? Why do you still have a pager? No, I don't have a pager. It's an insulin pump. Thanks. You know, insulin pumps tend to always look like dated technology, and it's no different now, because now this 670g and 630g right here looks like an old early 2000s, mid 2000s MP3 player, you know, with the dial there and the screen up here. Even some of them then had the color screen. Not so much the iPod, but there was I think Creative Zen. Creative Zen, this looks almost identical to a Creative Zen. Let me show you a picture of that. So I'm wondering if the guy or woman or whoever designed this had a Creative Zen, or maybe had that in their design. So who knows? Looks fairly similar. I did start getting used to the way that up here around the dial kind of puffs out a little bit. It doesn't bother me as much as it originally did. At first it really bothered me, but I'm used to it now, and you know, I get it. It needs to be used to align those buttons so that they don't stick out so much, and it works rather well. Let me show you what I really liked and miss about my old Revel pump and the pumps before that. I've had these pumps since 2001 up until, you know, I just got my 670g. So let me show you what I've noticed I've missed off that pump. So one of the first things I've noticed about the 670g or 630g versus these Revel pumps and all the ones before that, Paradigm pumps, is there's a window here on the Paradigm for the where you can eyeball the amount of insulin left in it. I mean, there's definitely solutions for the 670, and I'll show you those, but I do miss that. I do miss that feature. Okay, so obviously there's no window on the 670. Takes some getting used to. Obviously it kind of tells me electronically what it is up here, and obviously I could always take this out and eyeball it, but not as convenient as before. Maybe part of that has to do with the waterproofing of this pump, so that this pump could go in the water. It's probably a worthwhile sacrifice, but it is a feature of the old pump that I do miss. Now, one of the other things I kind of miss is you can see that the plastic on here, it's somewhat textured, almost like little sands. I don't know, but I don't know why. It comes off with that textured feel as possibly being more durable than the smooth. But you know, I keep feeling around, and at first I thought that this one was heavier duty, but I'm starting to think the more and more I look at it, I think they're fairly similar. I do like the textured feel to this, though. It does feel a little bit easier to grasp, because this is almost slippery, especially with this sticker, but on the back. But even without, it's going to be that way. It just, I don't know. This seems to have a better grip. So I do miss that. Okay, this is the biggest difference for me. So one of my favorite things to do with my previous Medtronic pump is this I would wear on my belt or at my hip or whatever, and I would always leave this on the belt, and then I would take this out and I'd use my pump and then give myself my bolus or, you know, whatever I needed to do here. It was really nice because then I would just go slip it right back in the holster and it'd be on my belt. Now this, I can't do that so much. I've looked for a holster. I've not found one. It seems that they only really have this clip, and this clip is attached to the actual pump. It slides out like that. So I can't really leave that on my belt. So every time I do this, I have to completely unhook it from my belt. And so then I, you know, have to take it all out like that, do my insulin, then put it back, clip it back. And you say, oh, that's not that big of a deal, but it's quite a bit more of a hassle. I could literally do that in not very much time at all. It's just like boom, and this I tend to fart around a bit more, and then yeah, so I definitely preferred this method. Now the problem is these would break all the time. This back here would break off, and I'd have to buy these all the time. They're like 17 bucks. And eventually I met somebody who gave me a replacement for free. So I've had a replacement for free before, but $17 a pop, and you know, they would break, but lots more convenience. This, I have had issues with this metal rod piece slipping like out, sometimes half the way, and I had to take a little hammer or something and push it back in there. So I know that this is not very durable either. It has held up for a while for me, but I have to keep putting the little metal rod back in. As far as victories on the older pump, the texture's nicer. The holster is my #1 thing. I like the holster better, and then obviously the window. I really like those aspects of the design. Okay, here's what I like better about the new pump. The screen. Obviously, I'd much rather have this screen, which is literally twice the size of the old screen. Plus, it displays in bright, backlit color, which is amazing. It's clear to see. It's very easy to use. It's bright. Been waiting probably a decade for that. Obviously, Animus has had one for a very long time. And Medtronic had been stuck on, you know, the old black and white Game Boyish but tiny screen. So that's a big improvement. Other cool things, obviously bolusing from the meter's cool. Again, that was something that was available on the Animus pump for years. That wasn't available on this. It does work fairly well. There's some complaints about it though, like it does work fine if I manually bolus from the meter. If I try to sync with the pump, like it gets get my blood sugar resolved, both you know, I could deliver insulin from the meter, but it tends to not calculate the boluses. It has an error, and I don't know why that is. Now my bolus wizard on this works great. So I don't know why it can't sync the bolus wizard. Maybe that's something I'm doing wrong and we'll figure out. But I also really like that I could bolus at a faster speed if I want. I don't have to stick with the slow bolus. Now I can feel it go through my arm or my stomach, wherever I have it, a lot quicker, but that is a pretty awesome feature. It is pretty easy to navigate with these buttons, just as it was with the other buttons on the other one here. It's hard for me to tell you one's better than the other. Obviously it's bigger on that one, but you get the bigger screen here. So I think that takes precedence, and I think that's a victory. It's hard for me to fully review this without getting this button here doesn't work yet because I have no sensor, because they've not given me that. I think that sensor is going to be the biggest game changer, and I think the other features of the pump, when those kicks in, that is going to be huge for me and make this pump leaps and bounds better than that other one I have over there. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. As far as the tones on it, the tones are much clearer on this one. I could hear them much more clear. They're louder. So that is a really awesome thing as well. The menus are mainly pretty clear. They work pretty well. There's a couple times in the menus where you're hunting for things and they're in places where you wouldn't guess, like in options. There's quite a bit here. This is, I mean, reservoir and tubing and all that's in options, and in the old pump I think there just went to it. So there's a couple extra presses and some things where they're a little bit harder to find. Once you know where they're at, it's no problem. But overall, I feel this pump is a great improvement over the previous ones. So I think the 670G is going to be a big game changer in my life. I don't really have that whole game changer piece yet, so I have to review it again once I get those, and I'm really excited and I hope they come soon. Hint, hint. I do wish the devices didn't have to look like dated technology, but I think the problem is that the way medical medicines and FDA and all that works is things take forever to get improved, improved, and then approved. So we're kind of stuck in that sense of getting slightly, well, I shouldn't say slightly, very dated technology in our medical devices versus what we get for music or computing or other technology needs. Obviously there's some pumps out there that look more advanced, like the T-Slim. But it's hard to say what I'm getting or getting because I've been on Medtronic for so long, and that my insurance also prefers it, and also Medtronic's the #1 selling. So as far as that's concerned, this pump definitely is the best pump I've had. It's a great improvement. It's improvements I've been waiting for a very long time. Being a Medtronic customer since 2001. Would I like to see a T-Slim? Yes. Do I want to wear one? I don't know. So if someone has one, they want to show me, fantastic. Let's see it. But as far as technology, as far as that, your insulin actually changing based on your CGM results, obviously Medtronic's got it there, and can't wait to get to use it. And I hope you all are out there using this technology as well as enjoying it, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Please remember, if you like this video, to give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Feel free to contact me in the comments down below or on Twitter. My handle is @KristenSteps, and we'll see you next Thursday.